I am about to take you on a ride inside of Woodlands Cemetery in Philadelphia. We'll be going at a steady 5 miles per hour. Please buckle up. Please remain seated. And we are inside of Woodlands Cemetery here in Philadelphia. This is a park that many people use to get away from the city for a little while. It's located roughly around 40th Street and Woodland Avenue, near the 40th Street portal where the buses and the trolleys converge. And Woodland Cemetery is home to many trees, many types of trees that you will not see anywhere in Pennsylvania, let alone the world. It was brought here by a naturalist, horticulturalist, and it's home to many famous people. Among them, Rembrandt Peale, who was named after the artist Rembrandt. You might know him from painting the famous portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the one that you will see in most school books as well as government publications. At least it was up until a few years ago. While you're driving in Woodland Cemetery, you might keep an eye out for joggers. Many joggers use this park to run. I just paused. I had to say hi to a jogger who was also walking her dog. By rule of thumb, lead with friendliness, especially when you are in a friendly environment, and then it spreads, it will continue. If you are in Woodland Cemetery, you might want to bring a blanket in the summertime or in the springtime, because it is a place that is nice for having a picnic. Many people also use it to ride their bikes. Many people also use it to train on how to drive. Let me just stop. It's getting foggy in the cabin. Please do not be alarmed. We are insured up to $50 per customer. Okay. And we have these posts that appear every so often to avoid speeding down these trails. In the springtime as well into the fall, you can see nice flowers here. Flowers that are kept by the park, and also they have a grave gardener program. I think that's the name, where they beautify the graves that are here in Woodland Cemetery. Let's see, small speed bump. Okay, let's go around that. And that's the entrance to Woodland Cemetery. Here's a walker and a family walking their dog. And I'll just go slow. Thank you for moving to the right side of the road. Thank you, ma'am. Person, he, them, they. So the entrance would be here. Sometimes they have the West Crafts Festival here, where a lot of vendors will line up these streets to sell their goods, to sell their wares, to sell their services. That of the legal persuasion. Not sure if you can see some of the flowers that are here on the graves. But it's a nice touch. It adds a little bit of color to this place. There is someone walking their dog. You see a lot of people walking their dogs. Unfortunately, the streets are not as safe to walk in Philadelphia as a graveyard. And that says a lot about how the city is run. But it's pretty nice in here. You have some stables in the back to the right over here, as well as some of the houses that go well back a century or more. So let's, get a better view of it. There it is. Let's get back on the road. And here we see the same ladies we saw as we were going the other way. It's always nice to see how people come together. It doesn't matter where you are. At least for me it is. Especially in the digital age where you don't have a lot of people connecting in a very organic way. Especially when you're well into your 70s, let alone 80s. How people manage to come together. This is the Woodlands Cemetery main offices. It's a beautiful building. Maybe I'll go around again. There's a ramp, perhaps for unloading or loading, or perhaps for someone of a challenged, handicapped persuasion. And that's, you see, it's a beautiful building. I don't know if you can see it from there. I'll try to make a turn here so you can get a better view of the building. Again, we are at Woodlands Cemetery. The curve there. Back up a little bit. Back up a little bit. It's hard to keep regular hours when you have to keep being closed down by the government and state officials and everything but what you want to do. There it is. Beautiful building. Have a reef in front of it. I noticed that Philadelphia, they try to, especially in shopping districts, you see a lot less Christmas decorations than you would 5 years ago. My Christmas decorations, I'm talking about pictures of Santa Claus, no nativity scenes, candy canes, socks, that kind of thing. Those red socks and stockings. Yeah. On the other side of Woodland Cemetery, you'll see Amtrak and SEPTA rail services. And on the other side of this, you will see Penn Medicine, which employs a lot of people here in Philadelphia. And just a little bit more to the left, you'll see the Veterans Medical Center for those who have served the United States of America in the different branches of combat, national protection. Here we are. There was an artist painting here not too long ago. By the way, if you are learning how to drive, many people I've seen here with their parent or guardian or friend, they also come to Woodland Cemetery to train them on how to drive. But always remember, stay as to the right as possible of the roads here, because there are a lot of walkers, a lot of people with their pets, a lot of people bring their kids here because you feel like you're away from the city for a little while if you come here. And we have a lot of big potholes coming up, or cracked streets, just to remind you that that you're in Philadelphia. So we'll try to maneuver our way around it as much as we can, or else it'll make the inspection that we're just given null and void. go. There you go. And we were clear of it, but they had two big cracks on both sides. So we'll go down this way. Many joggers take the way that she just took. Sometimes it's good to just feel the grass under your feet for a little while, and that's what the Woodlands Cemetery can provide you. There's a big obelisk to the right, but we can't see it. Doubt that you can see it. Makes no sense in speeding here. There are a lot of speed bumps to keep the uniformity of the Philadelphia streets. Some people used to come here and there's one flag. Yeah, they used to put flags by the gravestones. Some of them were just American flags. Some of them actually had Confederate flags up until about 4 or 5 years ago. And I noticed that those gravestones, headstones that had Confederate flags, the Confederate flags would be taken, sometimes stolen, and sometimes their graves will be defaced, which is unfortunate. And should we go for another spin? Maybe just one more spin. It's a cold and gray day here in Philadelphia, though it's kind of windy. The wind must be about 12 miles per hour. A lot of students run here from the University of the Sciences, one of the most expensive schools in the country. Some students run here from Drexel University and others from Penn University, all universities that are close by. Aside from knowing this place as West Philadelphia, many people know this place as University City. So it has its own district naming. Sometimes they do that. City planning does that to attract a different kind of citizens that can afford college but don't necessarily want to be attached to the crime that is in the area. It kind of makes it feel safer. The same thing they did with Harlem in New York City, Morningside Heights, University Drive, and places like that used to just be known as Harlem. And even to the extent of NoHa, North Harlem. It's also a marketing strategy. If you want to make more money, you could say, I'm from this place, or this is where I have my boutique, this is where I have my collection of friends that are from these places. So let's go this alternate route. And there's an artist paint. That's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? We have an artist over here, and he's painting with his easel outdoors. It's beautiful to see that. Wow. Wave high. Wow. You're doing good work. He's painting the dead trees. I like to see that. The arts are not dead. Just passing a rose bush. What's left of it. During the beginning of the closures, a lot of people would use this place as a place to get away from the news and to get away from the city while still being in the city. A lot of people would come here during the lunch breaks from work. It would just remain full. It's almost like there was a natural return to nature, even though it came in the form of a burial ground. And yes, going about 5 miles per hour, just to be respectful of everyone who's decided to come out here to the Woodlands Cemetery. A lot of dead leaves here. See a jogger coming with her daughter. Yeah, coming around here. Waving hi. I like to see that. Here comes the big potholes again. I hope it's a real test to your car, to your wagons. Same women that were there that we passed before, right now are sitting here and just having a conversation. I like to see that people doing things outside of the home. Sometimes the news can trick you to believing that the whole world is miserable. But as bad as things seem to be, if you sit down and watch the news, when you go out, that's not your reality. But when you watch the news, all the bad information from all parts of the world are compressed in one place. And that can't be good for your health or your outlook on people or society. But the same people that are funding mainstream media news are the people who are invested in the so-called solution to your stress problem, to your mental health problem. Sometimes just opening the door and walking outside and facing the sun for 5 minutes, even if that's all you have, is enough to combat whatever forms of stress or depression that you seem to be having. Let me just stop right here as we come to the exit of Woodlands Cemetery. And right in front of me, you'll see Woodland Avenue and Baltimore Avenue, as well as the 40th Street portal, routes 11, 13, 36, and the 34 stop right here. Okay, let me sign off to see if we actually record.